Doctors are rich. At least that's what everyone tells you, right? Although doctors in the US often make a very comfortable living, they often aren't living the lavish lifestyle you might expect. And here's why. What's going on, guys? For those of you who are new here, my name is Kevin Jabal, physician entrepreneur based in Las Vegas, formerly in plastic surgery. Although becoming a doctor is a relatively guaranteed path to a high income, it isn't the best career if you're optimizing for money. It's true that doctors often enjoy a stable, upper middle class lifestyle, but it's a far cry from balling out on fancy dinners, fast cars, and luxury yachts day in and day out. Here are 5 reasons why more doctors aren't multi-millionaires. Let's start by addressing the elephant in the room: opportunity cost. By choosing a career in medicine, of course, you're missing out on all those other opportunities that would have been available to you had you chosen a different career path. That's because to become a doctor in the United States, you must complete 4 years of college, then another 4 years of medical school, followed by 3 to 7 years of residency, depending on your specialty, and 1 to 2 years of fellowship if you do choose to subspecialize. It should be noted that BSMD or similar programs exist which allow students to receive their bachelor's degree and their MD degree in 7 years instead of 8. However, that's not really the norm. Regardless, it takes over 10 years of post-secondary education. If we compare this to other career paths like engineering, computer science, you can finish your degree in 4 years and immediately go into the workforce. In addition, the years spent training to become a physician are often more challenging than in other career fields. During college, you're expected to achieve a high GPA and MCAT score while simultaneously participating in all these different extracurriculars like research, volunteering, shadowing, leadership, and other clinical experiences. During medical school, you'll spend the majority of your time in class, clinic, or studying for your board exams so you can ultimately match into your desired specialty. And then once you get into residency, you'll spend anywhere from 50 to 80 plus hours per week working on top of the time spent studying outside of the clinic or hospital. Even if we look at family medicine, one of the specialties with the shortest training pathways, the average physician will have around 21 to 22,000 hours between medical school and residency training. For perspective, the average person works approximately 2,000 hours per year. That means that the average family medicine physician puts in the equivalent of 10 years of work in just 7. In addition to the missed opportunities in terms of time, there's also significant financial opportunity costs associated with becoming a doctor. According to educationdata.org, 76 to 89% of medical school graduates have educational debt. And the average medical school graduate owes $242,000 in total student loan debt. That's 6 times as much as the average college graduate. If we consider both the current student loan interest rates and the average amount of time that it takes physicians to pay back all their debt, the average doctor will ultimately pay between $365,000 and $440,000 for their student loan plus interest. For this reason, even after completing residency, many physicians don't get to truly enjoy the fruits of their labor until they pay down their loans. Now, there are some loan forgiveness programs, such as PSLF, where after 10 years of regular payments, of minimum payments, I should say, the rest of your loans are forgiven, but these have really strict requirements as to who is eligible. Not only must your loans qualify, but your repayment program and your employer must qualify as well. As such, there have been many physicians who believe that their payments qualified for PSLF, only to find out that they actually didn't. So if you are relying on PSLF or other loan forgiveness programs to help repay your loans, I highly recommend that you look into the specific requirements and ensure that you are eligible. The next reason goes hand in hand with opportunity cost. However, it's important enough that it deserves its own point. By pursuing a career as a physician, you often miss out on the opportunity to start investing at an early age. One of the most powerful wealth building tools is compound interest. As Albert Einstein once said, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. To demonstrate this point, here's an example. If you were to invest just $500 in the stock market every single month, starting at the age of 25, and averaged a modest annual return of 7% each year, you'd have around $1.2 million at the age of 65, despite only having invested $240,000 of your own money. In contrast, if you were to begin investing that same $500 a month at the age of 35, you would have less than half of that at around $567,000. This is the power of compound interest. To afford college and medical school, many students have to take out student loans. As such, very few students are able to build sizable savings and start investing during their early 20s. In fact, many don't even start seriously investing until they're well into their 30s, and they've been practicing as an attending physician for several years. Although doctors do earn higher salaries than many other careers, that's $260K for primary care physicians and $360K for specialists, and they can invest more aggressively once they start their careers, their starting line begins much later than for most other people. Because of their high income, most doctors will ultimately come out ahead financially in the long term, However, if your primary goal is money, becoming a doctor isn't the most efficient way. There are many other careers where you can earn a high salary and start investing much earlier in life. To learn more about these careers, be sure to check out my highest paying careers video linked below. The third reason that more doctors aren't millionaires is lifestyle inflation. Because of the super delayed gratification associated with becoming a physician, many doctors succumb to rapid lifestyle inflation once they start making higher salaries. During your 30s, many of your friends are already well established in their careers, whereas you, as a doctor, are just starting yours. Your friends who started their careers right after college will have nearly a decade's head start on their earnings. Many will be buying cars and houses and starting to settle into their life. This often isn't the case for physicians at this age. As a result, many physicians feel like they're behind their peers throughout their training, so once they start earning a high salary, they try to make up for lost time. And look, I know it's easy to think that this isn't gonna apply to you because you're downing cup noodles every night on your shoestring budget as a college student. But lifestyle inflation in your 30s hits almost everyone. It's not uncommon to see newly minted physicians purchasing their first house, buying a new car, and splurging on luxuries right after they finish their training. In a sense, they feel like they've earned it and they deserve to let loose financially. Although you can't blame them for feeling this way, as they've worked incredibly hard for over a decade to get to where they are. It's likely not the best approach to finances, especially if you have significant student loans. The other issue is that doctors are held in high regard by society, so many of them feel like they have a certain image that they need to keep up with. That, combined with keeping up with the Joneses, can create situations where you have doctors living paycheck to paycheck or sinking further into debt despite earning high salaries. So I didn't come from a financially privileged background, and I spent much of my life living incredibly frugally. I thought that lifestyle inflation, it just wouldn't affect me. While I still practice frugality, such as buying a cheap but super fun sports car, like the Toyota GR86, which I talk about on my other channel, Jabal on Cars, I do also splurge a little bit. I get guac at Chipotle, and I buy Charmin Ultra Soft tissue paper as if I was in the upper echelons of society. The way that I live life now is much more indulgent than I would have predicted just a few years ago. It's easy to say that you'd be able to live the same lifestyle making 50K a year as you would making 150K or 250K a year. However, actually doing it is a lot easier said than done. Another reason that more doctors aren't multimillionaires has to do with scalability and salary ceilings. Although most physicians earn high enough salaries to be millionaires if they just save and invest intelligently, having more time actually makes it easier to save money. There are many career paths that let you make a lot of money, which I discuss again in my highest paying careers video, but there are also many careers that allow you to make money without having to invest so much of your time. In the traditional role of a doctor, your income is linked to the number of hours you work. You have to show up for work and see patients in order to get paid. That's active income. Even if you are compensated based on your productivity, there are only so many hours in a day to see patients. If you work as a software engineer, on the other hand, you may be able to create an app or a product that allows you to earn passive income while you sleep. In essence, you invest time, money, and resources into something once, and then it continues to make you money without much additional work. This is leverage. In addition to missing out on some of these passive income opportunities, most physicians will eventually hit a salary ceiling. Each specialty will have its own range of salaries, and that depends on a lot of factors such as practice type, location, etc., but there is an upper limit. That's why you'll almost never see a family medicine doctor or a pediatrician making millions of dollars per year. The exception here is if you either become a partner in a practice or you start your own practice. You get a little entrepreneurial with things. In this case, your earning potential is only limited by how much you're willing to expand. That being said, this does require you to run a business and take on all of the non-doctor responsibilities that do come with it. This brings me to the sponsor of today's video, Locumstory. If you want to increase your earning potential but don't want to run a business, another option is to work in locum tenens. Locumstory is an online educational resource for physicians, physician assistants, and nurse practitioners to learn about locum tenens. What are locums, you might ask? In short, these are temporary assignments that allow doctors and APPs to provide coverage for a hospital, clinic, or healthcare facility for a designated period of time. These assignments can be as short as a weekend or as long as several years. It all depends on the level of need and the provider's preferences. There are many reasons you might choose to work in locums. To start, it provides you with much greater control over your schedule. You don't have to worry about missing out on holidays or special occasions because you're in control of when and where you work. It also gives you the time and flexibility to pursue your hobbies and interests outside of medicine. In addition, you'll be making between 33 and 50% more than physicians in permanent positions, allowing you to pay back your debt and start building your wealth sooner. Whether you're looking for more flexibility, better pay, or just a change of scenery, there are many opportunities within locums that allow you to carve out your own niche and create the career that you want. It doesn't matter if you're just finding out about locums and want to learn more, or if you're trying to set up your first assignment, Locumstory has a variety of resources to help you at every step of the way. From comprehensive blog posts and frequently asked questions to tax and insurance resources, Locumstory has everything you need in one place. Visit locumstory.com/Jabal or click the link in the description to learn more about locum tenens. The last reason that more physicians aren't millionaires is that they think becoming wealthy is a matter of luck. Although it would be naive to say that luck doesn't matter, it often doesn't matter nearly as much as people think. Okay, look, there are people who are born into wealthy families that pay for their medical school and set them up for financial success. There are also people that happen to invest in meme stocks that just happen to 100x in price. Undeniably, these people are lucky. That being said, you don't have to be lucky in order to be financially successful. You can work hard and create your own luck in many instances. Take my experience, for example. Now, granted, I was lucky in a lot of ways, but I was also unlucky in a lot of ways. Not only with the financial strain of growing up, but also having the concurrent family and health issues that I've talked about elsewhere on this channel and on Med School Insiders. Now, despite these disadvantages, I worked my fucking ass off during college to become a top student, which allowed me to get into a top medical school and have them pay for all of my tuition and most of my living expenses. And I didn't stop once I was in medical school either. I worked really hard to become a competitive residency applicant and ultimately matched into plastic surgery. Now, had I stayed, a career as a plastic surgeon would have provided me with a comfortable living. But I resigned from residency to try my luck at my vision for medical education and entrepreneurship. I was actually working more grueling hours in that first year of the new business than what I did in residency. I was consistently putting in 100+ hour weeks. But as a result of all this hard work, I was able to pay off my college and medical school loans and get into a position where I didn't feel the pain of financial stress. And you can do that too. Just because we didn't win the family finances lottery or get lucky in crypto doesn't mean that we can't work towards becoming wealthy. You can always work your tail off and become successful the old-fashioned way. And here's the thing, there is a certain level of intrinsic satisfaction in knowing that you worked for your success. And you don't get that if you are lucky or you just had things handed to you. Work hard and be proud of what you've accomplished. Not only will this pay off financially, but it's also the key to building true self-confidence and self-efficacy. And that is priceless. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you check out the highest paying careers video or this other video. Much love, and I'll see you guys there.